Here seeing this, your ancestors want me to let you know it's time to throw out that sweater. Fuck it ugly. I don't know, they said it was important.
Y'all see this shit?
What's up, y'all? It's your guy. What's up, y'all? It's your favorite resident chaos ball and galactic tour guide, Yal Arbakari, aka the GOAT Coach, and this is the Heavens Declassified Galactic Survival Guide, where we dive into not only what the hell is going on in the heavens, but how to survive it and thrive in it. This weekly reading is going to be broken down into 5 parts. The first is going to be a breakdown of the card of the week and what to expect. The second is going to be an overview of any major planetary transits and aspects we have this week. The third is going to be the card transits for the days of the week. Then we're going to do a quick astrological breakdown sign by sign. And last but not least, a little 5-card spread, which I like to call the cheat sheet, so we know how to not only survive the week, but thrive in it. Are you ready, kids? Let go! Alrighty, folks, so this week is a 3 of Diamonds week, and this card is not for the faint of heart. And that's because the challenge with this card is to hang on to your creativity in the midst of trials and tribulations, no matter what. This is why you'll often find 3 of Diamonds marching to the beat of their own drum. And it's because they spent most of their lives having to in order for them to find true peace, joy, and happiness. But it's not all bad news, as this is an excellent week for expressing financial creativity and coming up with unconventional ways and even slightly weird ways of making money that you probably wouldn't have considered before. But enough of the high level. Let's dive into why this card is so challenging and exactly why those challenges can serve as fuel for creativity. Now, each card has a 12-card hand, which in cardology we like to refer to as its spread. Let's take a look closer at the 3 of Diamonds spread. Now, the 3 of Diamonds is really interesting is because it's sandwiched between 2 really important cards, the 6 of Hearts and the Queen of Diamonds in the life and spiritual spread in cardology, with the 6 of Hearts being its lifetime displacement card or North Node, and the Queen of Diamonds being its lifetime environment card or South Node. And for those of y'all who are like, what the fuck does that mean? It means that the 3 of Diamonds is challenged to leave behind its South Node tendencies or Queen of Diamonds tendencies of needing to have things look a certain way, needing to make things look good, and living life sometimes a little above their means, and move towards their 6 of Hearts North Node, which calls them to establish peace, be a peacemaker, and create an environment that basically makes them feel good without necessarily having to spend a whole bunch of money to do it. Now, with the sun being in Cancer and transitioning into Leo, that puts this particular week under the influence of the moon. And the 3 of Diamonds moon cards, respectively, are the 5 of Clubs as well as the 6 of Hearts. Now, the 5 of Clubs serves as an emotional support system, meaning that this week is challenging you emotionally to open up your perspectives and look at things a little bit differently without falling victim into necessary conspiracy type thinking. Or jumping to really weird fucking conclusions. Because if there's one thing the 5 of Clubs gonna make you do, it's jump to a conclusion that makes no sense. Now, with the 6 of Hearts in the cosmic moon position, that puts extra emphasis on the need to not only create and maintain peace, but do so without falling into unhealthy coping mechanisms or a rut. And in doing so, you'll be able to attract the karmic relationships that you need in order to move forward and take those next steps that you've been kind of putting on the back burner. Next up in the Mercury position, we have the Ace of Spades coupled with the 6 of Spades, which basically ask you to line up your thoughts and communications and your ambitions with the things that you're supposed to do, aka destiny, rather than the things you want to do. Because trust me, a lot of the times those aren't the same things. Why do you think I'm doing this now? Now, sitting in the Venus position, we have the 7 of Hearts coupled with the King of Clubs, which basically ask us to use the things that we love in order for us to create an executable plan. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to involve removing some rose-colored glasses in order to see things and people for who and what they are. rather than who or what we may want them to be. Now, in the Mars position, we have the seven of diamonds with the seven of clubs, with those two sevens basically asking us to be actively prepared to execute any plans that we come up with by observing the patterns that we notice, and most importantly, keeping a positive mental attitude because things won't always look good this week. But if we can take the time to see past the bullshit, past it, and focus instead on the positive and keep our eyes on the prize, we'll be able to spot the patterns that we need to actually be able to create some really nice opportunities for ourselves, especially financially. Next up in the Jupiter position, we have the five of spades coupled with the ace of hearts, which means that growth and perspective this week comes primarily through shakeups or turbulent events that actually allow us to get a better peek into our personal selves. Now, in the Saturn position, we have the Jack of Hearts coupled with the Jack of Spades, which means our rules, regulations, and restrictions all involve sacrifice this week. Just keep in mind that any sacrifices made this week are being done so in order to evolve and grow you to the next step. But you're going to fight back and it's not going to feel like it. But trust me on this, it's better to just go with it than fight against it. Because Saturn don't play that shit. Now, in the Uranus position, we have the Nine of Clubs and the Nine of Spades. That's a tough one because that's the particular planet that deals with surprises and evolution and all that other stuff. And with two heavy ending cards there, all you can do is really embrace the surprises and take it as a sign that you've graduated from whatever it is that you no longer need. Now, don't you take your ass on back there after it's ended, especially with the Nine of Spades there, because that means that ending was a long time coming. And you'd honestly be re entering that situation at your own risk. The universe will not be responsible for what happens to you as a result. Just a fair warning. Then in the Neptune position, we have the Nine of Spades. And with the planet of illusions and dreams dealing with this particular card, it's basically asking you to turn any disillusionment and any disappointment into opportunities to let go of beliefs that are no longer serving you. Suddenly, the ugly sweater thing is starting to make sense. It's a metaphor. And literally, they still want you to get rid of that fucking sweater. It's hideous. In the Pluto position, we have the Two of Hearts, which means that relationships and connecting with your tribe are a big source of transformation this week. Beware of unnecessary power struggles, too. It ain't worth it, fam. It's just not. But the reward for powering through those transformation and struggles is going to be the King of Hearts, which grants you the courage, power, stamina, and ambition necessary to do things your way and carve out a path that was previously not there for you. The challenge card this week is the King of Diamonds, which means you need to avoid unnecessary stubbornness, tyrannical behavior, being short sighted, narrow minded, or just a jerk in general. Also, it's a good week to be on your P's and Q's in business because King of Diamonds is really big on that. Now, if you can handle all of this week, your transformation card is the Four of Clubs, which basically gives you a common sense and concrete way of thinking and communicating that people will find attractive and that will push you to the next level of what it is you're trying to do. That was a lot, right? Well, let's take a look at the heavens and see what's going on there. This week we have two major astrological shifts taking place, ironically both on the 17th. The first is the new moon in Cancer. Now, new moons are all about a time of shedding and getting rid of stuff. And Cancer deals with the home, tradition, things that may have happened in childhood, mothering, nurturing, all that stuff, emotional stuff. Which means that this new moon is asking us to shed anything and everything that is blocking us and hindering us from moving forward, especially things from the past. This is why they want you to get rid of the sweater. Besides the fact that it's hideous, it's holding you back stylistically. It just really is. Next, we have a major shift in the heavens as the North Node moves into the sign of Aries. My 86 to 87 babies are going to want to pay extra close attention to this one, as they are going to be experiencing what's known as a nodal return. Now, when the North Node goes into Aries, it pulls us away from the Libra aspect of things on the South Node, which talks about, partnering with people, checking in with them, making sure we get everybody's opinion and try to make sure that we're making everybody happy. And instead, turning the focus on I am, or who it is that you are. With it taking place on the 17th, or a Jack of Clubs day, that basically means that who are you and who do you need to be in order for you to live the best life possible? That's the focus of what this transit is asking you to take a look at. And instead of getting hot-headed and impulsive, now is the time to dive into exactly what it is you need to do in order to become who it is that you need to be, so you can live the life that you really want. Do keep in mind that during this period, we are also in the pre-shadow phase for Venus and Chiron retrograde, which will be taking place next week on the 23rd. So get ready, get ready, get ready. Now for the minor transits, we got the moon shifting through Cancer, Leo, and Virgo this week. So if you have those placements and you're feeling a little touchy this week, that's why. Now, with the moon in Leo on the 18th, it's asking us to dive into our playful and creative side and have fun after all of that releasing that we just did, without diving into the drama. Because remember, this is a Three of Diamonds week. We're supposed to be creating peace, not drama. Moon in Virgo on the 18th asks us to take what we learned during that playful, creative time period while the moon was in Leo, and now take it and apply it with actionable steps without becoming a neurotic mess. Now let's dive into the card transits. So Sunday kicked us off with the Queen of Clubs, which was basically asking us to tap into our intuition and really get to start asking ourselves questions about what it is that we're wanting to accomplish this week and what it is that may be triggering us in this week. So you definitely want to pay attention to anything that came up on Sunday, any secrets that were revealed, any topics that you were paying extra close attention to, because those things are pointing you in the right direction as to where you need to be looking in order for you to get the maximum benefit out of this week. Now, today is Monday the 17th, which is a Jack of Clubs day, and it is honestly jam-packed because remember, we have the new moon in Cancer. We also have the North Node shifting into Aries today. We also have a tough square between Mercury and Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely not a good day to be running off at the mouth. Instead, take the perspective approach, the evolutionary approach, basically wanting to make sure that you are looking at the bigger picture. Don't get lost in the sauce today, because it's going to be really easy to. So pay extra close attention to anything that triggers you today, as it is trying to get you to see areas that you may need to release, let go, heal, or just woosah in general today. Just make sure you do that, so that way you can use these opportunities instead as opportunities to fuel your creativity as well as your growth. Tuesday the 18th is a 10 of Clubs day. Again, the moon is also going to be in Leo, so you can choose to be anxious and nervous and dramatic, or you can choose to use that energy and be productive instead. Dealer's choice. The best way to use that anxious, I gotta do something energy is to journal, do art, tap into your creativity, go take some pictures, go do something, anything to get that constructive energy out instead of turning it inward and letting it turn into a whole bunch of drama that you don't need. Because again, remember, this is a Three of Diamonds week. Drama is not a good idea this week. And Wednesday the 19th is going to be a 9 of Clubs day. So definitely a earthquakey type of day, but also a very disappointment heavy day. So you definitely want to focus on the self-care this day. And know that this is a fantastic day for vision work, vision board work, quantum tunneling work, anything along those lines that is going to keep your eye focused on the prize. Any self-care that you do this day should be focused on getting rid of and releasing, decluttering, maybe writing out your journal and burning that letter or something like that. releasing, talk therapy, anything that allows you to get these things out. Wednesday is a fantastic day to do it, so you should really throw away that ugly sweater on Wednesday. Just saying. Thankfully, Thursday is an 8 of clubs day, so we get a little bit of stability as the heavens kind of switch it up on us again. We got the moon in Virgo on that day, and the sun is also trying Neptune, so we get a chance to put things into perspective and break down large tasks into small, actionable steps that we can go ahead and act on in the future. Now, we also got Mars opposite Saturn here. So with Mars pulling against Saturn, that means you're going to want to act on these things on Thursday, but it's probably not a good day to act because the picture has not become completely clear yet. We want to make sure that that's clear first and get a little bit more details before we act, but at least feel solid that we have a good plan in the works, and that's something that we can take action on once the heavens ease up on us a bit. So channel that nervous, built up energy instead into some positive things like exercising, perhaps, yoga, revisiting goals and stuff that you may have written down. Definitely a good time to go back to what popped up on Wednesday and see what are some behaviors that you need to let go of that will also put you in alignment with those goals that you're trying to do and those action steps that you're trying to take in the future. Friday is the 7 of clubs, y'all. So we're going to have to keep the faith because the bullshit will be strong with folks on Friday. Now, this day can be a gift or a curse, depending on how you choose to use it. The best way to survive it, keep a positive mental attitude and your eyes on the motherfucking prize. If you can do that instead of letting the bullshit and obstacles get in your way, you'll be able to find a way forward. So that way, when it's time to act, you'll be able to do so with no problem. Also want to make sure that you pay attention to any patterns that pop up on this day because they're trying to show you something that you really need to be paying attention to. And finally, Saturday. Happy Leo season. We kick off a Leo season with the 6 of clubs, which is a focus on truth, but also some fun. Now, keep in mind the sun is going to be squaring the north node on that day and opposite Pluto as well, which means destiny is going to be pulling you in one direction, your energy is going to be pulling you in another direction, and your sources of transformation are going to be pulling you in another direction. Instead of fighting against this tension, use this tension to get a good look past the bullshit and get down to the truth of the situation. Now, Mercury also trines Chiron on this day, so that means you can get all of that creative tension that's popping up with the sun and the Pluto and all that other shit and put it into your songs, put it into your artwork, put it into your music, put it into your journals, your story writing, whatever you do that's creative, even if it's collecting pine cones, put that energy out there and you can now alchemize that pain into something that you can use. Matter of fact, you can even use this as really good sales energy if you know what you're doing. Just saying. All right, now we're going to run through the forecast for the signs this week, kicking off with our fire signs. So first up is Aries. Aries, this week asks you to be prepared and instead of worrying about loss or monetary challenges, instead tap into your spirit in order for you to turn said challenges into the opportunities that you need to make a way forward. Masterminding is also indicated, so this is a great week for you to get with like-minded individuals so that you can strategize a way out. Leo, this week asks you to just march to the beat of your own drum and take a risk. Let an idea out that you might have been sitting on for a while. Don't worry about whether or not it'll work. That's not your job right now. All you need to do is let it out there and see what comes back, and it'll either have notes to improve it, evolve it, or whatever. But the point is, get it out. Sagittarius, this week asks you to trust that any shakeups that occur this week are designed for you to unlock your wizardry because you have powers you've been sitting on for a minute and you need to use them, but you won't use them unless you're forced to. Universe's words, not mine. So remember who you are this week. And you're probably the one with the ugly sweater. It's probably you. So, go ahead and do the thing and throw it out. Please and thank you. Now for my air signs. Gemini, this is not the week to spill the tea, but instead use it to line up your ambitions with what it is that you are supposed to be doing. This is also a week to trust that any blockages that you experience are for a reason. They're probably getting you to sit the fuck down and do what it is that you're supposed to do because you've been avoiding it long enough. Libra, this week it is time to take off the rose-colored glasses, that especially in relation to the people in your life, and instead take a good solid inventory as to where you've been giving your power and authority away and reclaim it, because now's the time to do so. And for my Aquarians, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. All good things and bad things must come to an end. And this, unfortunately, is the week when most of those things will probably be doing that. So, what you're going to do, instead of wallowing in the fact that these things are coming to an end, you are going to celebrate the wins, write down the lessons from the losses, and then move the fuck on. That's it. Now for my water signs. My Cancer babies. I know that this season has been astrologically tough for a lot of you. So this is definitely a good time to take stock and heal. Trust that any things that took place during this time period were only there to open you up mentally to particular patterns and ways of thinking and being that were no longer constructive to you. A lot of these things were karmic in nature, which just means that they were there to teach you what you needed to learn so that you can move on. So, what you're going to do during this time period is husa, relate, release, and move forward. And if you need to have a good cry, have a good cry, because we all been there. But whatever you do, do not create an emotional conspiracy theory that has you avoiding getting hurt again, because you can't avoid being hurt. All you can do is learn from it and roll with it. Scorpio, just keep in mind that relationships are going to be a challenge for you this week. Avoid getting into the power struggles and realize instead that any losses that you may experience, especially due to these relationships, are there to put a pattern that you have been ignoring in front of your mind so that you can get a clearer picture and let that shit go, baby. You don't need to be focused on revenge this week. This is not a John Wick week. Just let it go and breathe so you can transform and evolve and grow into the person that you're supposed to be. Just saying. You might also have the ugly sweater along with Aquarius and Sagittarius. Just let that shit go, fam. Time. And my airy fairy Pisces, this week, that dreamy energy might feel a little nightmarish, but it's okay. Trust that anything that ends this week, it's been a long motherfucking time coming. And you have held on to it long enough. Probably even longer than you should. You know what? Come to think of it, you might actually be the one with the ugly sweater the most. And you have the ugliest sweater out of everybody, probably. Go ahead and let that shit go, fam. And make space for the blessings that are trying to come into your life instead. And last but not certainly least, my earth signs. Taurus, much like Libra, it is also time for you to take off the rose-colored glasses, but this is more so in relation to areas where you've been particularly stubborn. You know what I'm talking about. Trust that this week is actually giving you the opportunity to grow in a way that you have been resisting for far too freaking long. Avoid being stubborn this week. I know it's hard for y'all, but avoid doing it and digging your heels deeper in, and instead allow and embrace the new you that's trying to come out and be, and let it get a little bit of sun and air, baby. Virgo, babies, I love y'all, but y'all gonna need to chill the fuck out this week. especially when the moon hits your sign towards the end of the week. Instead of worrying about all the things that you have no control over, relax, relate, release, and focus that energy into what you do have control over. Make your lists, check them twice, go exercise, go run, go do something, anything to get that neurotic energy out. Just don't put that energy into the air and make everybody around you be like, God damn Virgos. Please, not this week. Capricorn! This week is not a good week to play the victim. It's just not. Y'all gonna have to make some sacrifices that you don't want to make this week, and you're probably gonna be resisting them like hell. Everybody got to pay the bill at some time. This is your week to pay the bill. Sorry. It just is. Instead of asking why me, lean into what it is that you have to do and accept that this week you're just going to be playing the responsible one. Besides, any things that you give up this week are actually going to be leveling you up in the future, but you didn't hear that from me. Oh, by the way, beware of ripoffs, thieves, and scammers this week, and just general overall pretenders, because the force is going to be strong with them. And any way you get involved with it, it's going to take a long, long, long motherfucking time to get back your money and get back your time and energy. So just beware. Radar up. All right. And now, last but not least, we are going to get into our 5-card draw. This draw will be coming from the Precious Gems Oracle deck by Maxine Gadd. It's a very pretty deck. Very 3 of Diamonds-y. It's my daughter's deck, actually. It's her favorite deck to use. Now, this part will be live, so it will contain bloopers and all kinds of stuff. So let us see what this deck has for us. What you got, what you got, what you got. Come on with it. Come on with it. Let's see. What do we need to know to thrive in this crazy 3 of Diamonds energy of uncertainty, creativity, and no more drama? Let's see what we got here. All right. Whoop. Okay, so 1, 2. Those 2 flew out. Let's see what else we got here. This one flew out. Let's see here. And this one. 4 and 5. Okay, cool. So we're just going to read them as they came out. Some of them came out upside down, but because this is a thriving reading, we're just going to read them right side up for right now. Keep energy simple. All right. So we have Green Jade, or Meaningful Dreams, right? So pay attention to any dreams that come up this week. You're definitely going to want to be dream journaling this week, especially with the 9 of Spades in Neptune for the week. That's going to definitely be pushing that energy very strongly, especially on Saturday. Pay attention to any dreams you get on Saturday specifically. In general, you definitely want to be looking at that. Rose Zircon, Integrity. This is a good one because the 3 of Spades does tend to struggle with the 3 of Diamonds does tend to struggle with integrity, especially with that Jack of Spades coupled with the Jack of Hearts in the Saturn position. So you're definitely going to make sure that you're wanting to be on top of your shit, because you will get caught if you do some fucked up shit this week. I don't know who that's for, but just be aware. Next one, Labradorite, Serendipity. So pay attention to things, billboard signs, omens, songs on the radio that pop up and trigger ideas, because those things are literally pointing you in the direction that you need to go this week. Pearl, or Nurture, right? So that self-care and self-love, especially on Wednesday, throwing things away that you don't need, nurturing yourself, being kind and gentle with yourself this week is going to be really important, because this is going to have you very tender this week. 3 of Diamonds is a very tender card, understandably so, because there's a lot of letting go, a lot of releasing, a lot of getting rid of shit. So you want to be having that. And last but not least, we have Picasso Jasper or nature. So great time to spend time out in nature. Go borrow, meaning go out to a what's those things called? What's the giant gardens? I don't know. I can't remember the name of a giant garden right now. But go to botanical gardens. There you go. Go to a botanical gardens or go to a forest this week. Go stand outside in your backyard or go to a friend who has a garden. Anyone who is like a nature lover, go hang out with them in their favorite natural space. Go to a natural park. Go take a walk. Go do stuff like that. Be mindful of like rivers and lakes and stuff like that, or the ocean or anything like that this week. Is drowning can be indicated, especially with the nine of spades in Neptune. So you definitely want to be careful if you're going out there, but definitely in nature. I'm more so seeing greenery than water. So it's really important for you to ground out. That grounding out energy is going to help you with releasing a lot of those things that may be stuck, especially like energetic wise, trauma wise, and stuff like that. Is there anything else that we need to know? No. All right. So that concludes this week's Galactic Survival Guide. If you enjoyed this weekly reading, go ahead and do the thing and book with me. Please. I got a baby coming. At dreamscape.as.me. That's dreamscapecoaching.as.me. I will make sure I leave the link in the comments. Also, do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, send them bird, pigeon, messenger, whatever. Just share the message, man. Share the message if you enjoyed this. That concludes it, and I've enjoyed the time with you guys, but I'm hungry because I'm pregnant and I gotta go eat to feed my children. So I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Deuces.